and good evening. On behalf of Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari, Maharashtra Prant, I, Dr. Aparna Ralinkar, welcome you all for this August gathering for the program Northeast Calling. Let us seek blessings from the universe for the success of this program by chanting of prayers. I invite Kanchantai for the prayer.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सं समित्युवसे वृषन्नग्ने विश्वान्यर्य आ इळस्पदे समिद्यसे स नो वसून्यावर सङ्गच्छध्वं संवदध्वं संवो मनांसि जानतां देवाभागं यथा पूर्वे सञ्जानाना उपासते समानो मन्त्रः समितिः समानी समानं मनः सह चित्तमेषां समानं मन्त्रम् अभिमन्त्रयेवः समानेन वो हविषा जुहोमि समानीव आकूतिः समाना हृदयानि वः समानमस्तु वो मनो यथा वः सुसहासति ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथाः मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Together, as we journey towards the fusion of timeless wisdom and modern technology, let us hear Swami Vivekananda's message generated by modern AI technology, created by a team from Immersive AI, led by Mr. Ramakrishna, who is a Karyakarta of Vivekananda Kendra, Nagpur.
Brought to life by the team at Inverse AI, I extend warm greetings to all. Our ever-resolute mission shapes the future through education, rural development, publications, yoga, sanskar varg, personality development camps, and an array of vibrant initiatives. Our unwavering focus scans the captivating Northeast, a region we cherish for its distinctive geographic and cultural fabric. Under the illustrious ensign of the Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya, Arunachal Pradesh Trust, and Vivekananda Kendra Assam Shiksha Prasar Vibhag, we have striven tirelessly since 1977 to instill a sense of nationhood in every local tribal child. Our service channels wide through numerous rural development programs. Since 2017, Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari has been conducting the Northeast Calling program in Mumbai, and now we are bringing this important initiative to Pune. In these meetings, we gather, united by our care and recognition of the Northeast region's rich culture and unique challenges. We aim to create awareness and mobilize resources, both human and material, to support the growing activities of the Kendra. I've always believed in the infinite potential within each of us. All power is within you. You can do anything and everything. So, allowing your latent power to become an active force, join us on this journey. Remember my words. They alone live who live for others. Let's transform these principles into tangible action and elevate both Pune and our Northeast brothers and sisters. Together, in this spirit of unity and service, we celebrate India's vast diversity and rich geography. Welcome to be part of this divine journey. Through our collective actions, we can build a stronger, more inclusive India. A warm welcome to every one of you.
Now let us watch the video of Vivekananda Kendra's work at Northeast.
My dear
Have you ever seen this facet of the Northeast? These reassuring, inspiring melodies wafting from the schools, fields overflowing with enthusiasm, laboratories bustling with activity, happiness abloom in many tea estates, the soothing cushion of delight that the common folk get from the Seva Prakalp, the well-studied nurturing of tradition and culture. All these glimpses are manifestations of the silent revolution in the Northeast. To bring about this revolution, we wove a net of education. We brought healthcare into the heart of many villages, and through research, we studied the land with its own culture and traditions like gems. Since 1977, we have sowed the seeds of education and helped it survive and thrive, for which we established the fundamental amenities, paid attention to the overall development of students, created a generation of dedicated teachers. Today, Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya is synonymous with quality education. Our schools have been incessantly shaping up generations of well-cultured citizens. We are instilling this affinity for education in the hearts and minds of the children of the tea estate workers. The Anandalayas are the ones behind these miracles. This overall progress is being achieved through the Arun Jyoti project. Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture, situated in Guwahati, is conducting in-depth research of the traditions and culture of the Northeast, and the natives of the land are very much a part of it. The seeds of this silent revolution were sown by the visionary Eknath Ji. The mantle of this mission has been held up by Vivekananda Kendra, and those who brought it to fruition are the countless volunteers of the Kendra. The mission wasn't easy, still isn't. The Northeast is blessed with nature's bounty, but corroded by myriad obstructions. We have been encountering and vanquishing every problem, setting foot on this terrain, dueling every adversity, gathering local support, and perpetually arranging for necessary resources. All this is possible only with your support. And this teamwork has given rise to 56 schools, 132 Anandalayas, 93 kindergarten schools, 3 healthcare centers, 2 hospitals, regular medical and surgery camps, and 2 mobile clinics. Come, let us reinforce this silent revolution in the Northeast. Join us. Support us.
Anandalayas are the small educational centers, especially for the children of tea garden workers. Let us watch a short video on Anandalayas.
दूर दूर तक फैले असम के इन चाय बागानों से हम सभी परिचित हैं। इन्हीं चाय बागानों में आजकल कुछ और खिल और पल रहा है, जिससे हम बिल्कुल अनजान हैं, जिसकी आवाज हमने शायद ही सुनी है। आनंदालय। विवेकानंद केंद्र का चाय बागानों में चल रहा एक अनूठा उपक्रम। ये उपक्रम उन बच्चों के लिए चलाया जाता है जिनके माँ बाप चाय बागानों में मजदूरी करते हैं। असम की आबादी का 1/4 हिस्सा बन चुकी इन मजदूरों की तादाद टी ट्राइब कहलाती है। चाय बागानों से जुड़ी कॉलोनियों में ये बसते हैं। चाय कंपनियां इन्हें घर, महीने भर का राशन, इसके साथ कुछ बुनियादी सुविधाएं भी देती है। अंग्रेजों के जमाने से चली आ रही ये व्यवस्था अब कई पीढ़ियों के लिए परंपरा बन चुकी है, जिसके चलते ये चाय बागान ही इनकी दुनिया हो जाती है।
बागान में हम लोग जब बेसिकली देखते हैं एक आत्मविश्वास की कमी, क्योंकि वर्षों तक के ब्रिटिशों ने जो लोगों को लेकर के आए तो काम करने की दृष्टि से, लेबर की दृष्टि से ही लेकर के आए।
परमिट माइकी 5 नंबर, टेम्परली माइकी 7 नंबर, केस चालान छोटो 6 नंबर।
इसी सूचना के साथ इनके दिन की शुरुआत होती है। लगभग हर माँ बाप का दिन चाय बागानों में काम करते करते गुजर जाता है। इनके बच्चे पाठशाला तो जाते हैं, लेकिन पाठशाला से घर आने के बाद वे अपने ही हाल पे रहते हैं।
गांव की परिस्थिति ऐसी होती है कि बच्चे तो स्कूल जाते हैं, घर से तो निकल के जाते हैं। क्यों कोई बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं क्योंकि बीच में स्कूल नहीं पहुंचने से पहले कहीं पे जाएंगे, कुछ खेलेंगे, कुछ करेंगे, उसके बाद घर फिर भी वापस आ जाते हैं, किंतु घर में उनको देखभाल करने के लिए कोई ऐसे होते नहीं। और कुछ बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं क्योंकि स्कूल में जो जाते हैं, स्कूल में कुछ सिखाया जाता है, टीचर होमवर्क करने के लिए देते हैं, तो वो घर आने के बाद उनको घर में कोई सिखाने वाले होते नहीं है, तो वो उसको सिखाए कैसे। तो दूसरे दिन जो स्कूल जाते हैं तो टीचर पूछते हैं तो उनको, तो आज नहीं किया, दूसरे दिन भी ऐसे किया, 3-4 दिन ऐसे होने के बाद तो पिटाई तो करते हैं टीचर, तो पिटाई करने के बाद वो अपने आप स्कूल छोड़ देते हैं।
शिक्षा से छूटता और टूटता नाता इन बच्चों के सामने एकमात्र विकल्प रखता है, और वो विकल्प होता है चाय बागानों में मजदूरी का।
ये पूरे एजुकेशन सिस्टम को ही एक सपोर्टिव काम होना होगा। कैसे इनके अंदर पढ़ाई के प्रति एक लगाव हो, इस दृष्टि से ये आनंदालय प्रकल्प की शुरुआत हुई।
आनंदालय इन बच्चों में शिक्षा के प्रति रुचि निर्माण करने का प्रयास करता है। इसी हेतु आनंदालय का स्वरूप सुनिश्चित किया गया है। पहली कक्षा से 5वीं कक्षा तक के बच्चों को आनंदालय में शामिल किया जाता है। रोज 2 घंटे चलने वाले आनंदालय में पढ़ाई और सामूहिक संस्कारों पर जोर दिया जाता है। साथ में खेल, सूर्य नमस्कार, कहानियां और गीत, इनके माध्यम से बच्चों का सर्वांगीण विकास साधने का प्रयत्न होता है। केंद्र ने आनंदालय का जिम्मा यहीं के युवाओं को सौंपा है। घर घर में जाकर बच्चों को दाखिल कराना, आनंदालय चलाना और साल भर में कुछ कार्यक्रम आयोजित करना, ये सारा काम युवा आचार्य करते हैं।
तो जो बच्चे हमारे आनंदालय में पढ़ने के लिए आते थे, अब वो पढ़ाने के लिए तैयार हो गए हैं। मुश्किल से हमको 9-10 पास बच्चे मिलते थे। अभी तो हमारे जो आचार्य रहे, जो पढ़ा रहे थे, वे अभी ग्रेजुएट हो गए हैं। कई सारी बहनें नर्सिंग पास कर चुकी है, कई सारे भाई अलग अलग बिजनेस फील्ड में गए हैं। तो जो पढ़ा रहे हैं उनके ऊपर एक अच्छा इम्पैक्ट हमको दिखाई देता है।
असम के डिब्रूगढ़, तिनसुकिया, जोरहाट, शोनितपुर और शिवसागर, इन 5 जिलों में करीब 130 आनंदालय केंद्र चलाता है। इसके साथ अरुणाचल प्रदेश में 32 आनंदालय चलाए जाते हैं और ओडिशा में भी आनंदालय का प्रारंभ हो चुका है। इन आनंदालय में कुल 5000 छात्र सहभागी होते हैं और लगभग 130 युवा आचार्य इनके लिए अपनी सेवा प्रदान करते हैं। लोगों की या अभिभावकों की प्रतिक्रियाएं इन आनंदालय की उपयोगिता और प्रभाव सिद्ध करती हैं।
जो सुबह उठ के योगा सुगा करता है, वो गीत संगीत गाता है, देशभक्ति गीत, वो अच्छा लगता है हम लोग का। माँ बाप को यही सपना है जो बच्चा आगे बढ़े।
परिवर्तन आया है हम लोग को पढ़ाई में, जो ये करता है वो सब ठीक है। अभी हम लोग को जो ट्यूशन देने वाला ट्यूशन देता है और नहीं देने से भी मतलब चलेगा उठो।
আগতে কথা চথা নুশুনিছিলে, এতিয়া ভালকৈ কথা চথা শুনে। আনন্দ যা বুলি ক'লে আগতে নগৈছিলে, এতিয়া ধুনীয়াকৈ গৈছে। য'ত ত'ত নেযায়, কথা ক'লে শুনে আৰু মাত চাত। এতিয়া আগতে পইচা বিচাৰি থাকে, যিচ কিচবোৰ কৈ থাকে, সেইটো লাগে এইটো লাগে। এতিয়া আনন্দলৈ গৈ কিনি এতিয়া য'ত ত'তো নেযায়, ভালকৈ যিমান টাইমত যাব লাগে সিমান টাইমত আনন্দলৈ যায়।
विवेकानंद केंद्र असम और अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पहले से ही शिक्षा क्षेत्र में अपना योगदान दे रहा है। विभिन्न स्थानों पर चल रही बालवाड़ियां और विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय इसके ठोस उदाहरण हैं। केंद्र मानता है कि शिक्षा किसी भी व्यक्ति में आत्मविश्वास पैदा करती है। आनंदालय उसी दिशा में की गई एक नई पहल है, जो शिक्षा और संस्कार के द्वारा चाय बागानों के बच्चों में आत्मविश्वास और आकांक्षाएं पैदा कर रही है। चाय बागानों में बसे युवा और महिला वर्ग के लिए भजन संध्या का आयोजन होता है। इन भजन संध्याओं में स्वच्छता और स्वास्थ्य चिकित्सा जैसे कार्यक्रमों पर विचार और अमल किया जाता है। शिक्षा के साथ साथ सामाजिक परिवर्तन लाने में भी आनंदालय कारगर साबित हो रहे हैं। चाय बागान असम की पहचान तो थे ही, अब आनंदालय चाय बागानों की पहचान बन गए हैं और उम्मीद से भरे संगठित समाज की नींव रख रहे हैं।
Jivanvratis are the backbone of Vivekananda Kendra's work. Praveen ji is All India Treasurer of VK Kanyakumari. He joined as Jivanvrati in 1987. Engineer by qualification, he worked initially in the northeast with headquarters at Guwahati. The construction work of the building of VKIC, that is Vivekananda Institute Culture Guwahati, came up under his supervision. He was behind the growth of organizational work in Guwahati. Later, he worked after the completion of Vivekananda Kendra International Bhavan at Delhi. From 2011 to 2020, he was in charge of all the work in the Northeast. I invite Praveen ji to do Prastavik.
My pranams to all on this auspicious occasion of this very long awaited event in this Punya Nagari, Vidya Nagari, Pune, being organized by Maharashtra Pranta, Nidhi Pramukh, Nidhi Vibhag, Northeast Calling. Certainly, we all will be or are eager to understand, know, and maybe to the extent possible, interact, if not today, maybe in the coming days, regarding Vivekananda Kendra's work, which is going on since its almost inception, since 1977 practically. In this northeast corner of our nation, which got the name as Northeast, which used to be known as the Assam region basically, and as that Assam region, today's Northeast, got divided and distributed in 7 smaller states, and later the 8th state also was added to it in the form of Sikkim. Many of you who have worked in not only in Vivekananda Kendra or Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha, they may be knowing that Mananiya Eknathji Ranade, who had the responsibility in Kolkata, in the eastern region, as a Sangha Pracharak, was very concerned, at the same time fascinated due to the entire environment which was available in this northeastern region. Many of you who are much senior today, they may be remembering in the 1950, on the Independence Day, 15th of August, the Northeast experienced the severest earthquake. Brahmaputra changed its course at 2-3 places. Today's Dibrugarh is half of what Dibrugarh was then. Today's non-existent place called Sadia on the border of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam was totally washed off. Lot of destruction had happened during that earthquake, followed by the severe floods also. That was in 1950. Eknathji was already in the eastern region. And then, along with the then Sarasanga Chalak of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha, Parampujaniya Golagar Guruji, he went right up to Sadia, the town which was totally washed off. And then took up in his mind that in the coming years, at an opportune moment, we will have to look after this northeastern region in a specific and special way. That opportunity came right after Vivekananda Kendra was established in 1972, after the memorial was consecrated about an year before, in 1970 September. The then Lieutenant Governor of Arunachal Pradesh, then Northeastern Frontier Agency, NEFA, Mr. K.A. Raja, who happens to be his native or his hometown near Kanyakumari, visited Kanyakumari, was lucky to meet Mananiya Eknathji then, and he offered to Eknathji that this new organization what you are starting or you have started already, Arunachal Pradesh wants the dedicated work with service motive, and Vivekananda Kendra can send its Karyakartas, Jivanvritis, workers, teachers, to see that the field of education, Arunachal Pradesh, which was in the nascent or infant state, it can be taken care of. Eknath ji, who established the Vivekananda Kendra in Kanyakumari, grabbed this opportunity with both the hands, if you can say like that. And the first few batches of Jivanvarti Karyakartas were deployed. Most of the workers, most of the Karyakartas in the northeastern region, initially to work in the field of education. With the intervention of then the emergency in 1975-76, right in 1977, Vivekananda Kendra, with the help and encouragement, motivation, support of Arunachal Pradesh government then, established 7 Vidyalayas to begin with. And those Vidyalayas which were followed by Vidyalayas in the Assam, 78-79, the first Vidyalaya in Assam in the Tinsukia district, Tinsukia town was established. And over last now 50 years or so, 45-50 years, Vivekananda Kendra and Northeast has become an equation. As it was said, you must have heard in Anandalaya, that documentary, that now the tea garden's identity is equal to the Anandalaya. So Vivekananda Kendra and Northeast are identified. More than 60-70% of resources were, if we have to use the term, invested, deployed in this northeastern region, which is connected with that chicken neck or the bottleneck. Hardly a 22 kilometers land mass. The region fully surrounded by the 6 nations, having more than 5,000 kilometers of international boundary. And before the independence as well as after the independence, this region was taken up as a laboratory for nurturing, propagating the anti-national activities over there. A famous policy was in vogue called as New England policy, to make this entire region alien to the motherland Bharat by way of changing the faith of the people through conversions at the gunpoint or maybe with some allurement or otherwise. This situation of Northeast, because of the innocence and the ignorance of the people, was very much of concern to Mananiya Eknath ji. And this opportunity, which came in the form of offer from Lieutenant General K.A. Raja, was taken right at that stage. And Vivekananda Kendra is still today devoting its resources, if not to that extent, maybe marginally less. Because now, this northeastern region, where Vivekananda Kendra works in Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Manipur, these 4 states to begin with, and to some extent in Nagaland, has its own workforce, workers, karyakartas coming out of these activities, projects which are going on over there. Because each activity, whether it is service activity or whether it is a man-making effort, as in Vivekananda Kendra's Prarthana, we say, Nishkama Buddhyartha Vipanna Seva. The end objective is to make men with capital M, as envisaged by Swami Vivekananda, necessary, must for this nation to be again rejuvenated to its ultimate glory, to discharge its responsibility endowed by the nature, endowed by the Almighty, that this Bharat has taken birth, or is Bharat is born for the Vishwa Kalyan. Bharat is not aspiring to become great, aspiring to become Vaibhavshali only for its own sake. No. It is for the sake of the entire creation. To achieve that, Vivekananda Kendra is doing its bit since last so many years. Yes, when in 1997, at the completion of 20 years of our Vidyalayas in Arunachal Pradesh, Vivekananda Kendra launched an effort named as Arunachal Bandhu Parivar, by inviting the people across the country to join hands, to be of support, so that these activities and programs, projects can be further expanded, further enriched, further its reach goes to the grassroots level. Much is to be done. Lot needs to be done. Because as these one side efforts are going on, the other side efforts are also equally challenging. The situation across the country is also very much challenging. And that's why Vivekananda Kendra decided to seek support, appeal to the entire country for that matter, through that Arunachal Bandhu Parivar. And later on, since 2017, 16-17, we took this decision to appeal to, again, the well-meaning people, those who have enough to spare, those who have everything to give. And as in Vivekananda Kendra Prarthana it is said, Jivane yavadadanam syat pradhanam tatodhikam. Let us be the contributors to the development of this, our nation. Not only the consumers, not only the takers, but we should be giving also. To give that opportunity to the people at large, people who have the resources, people who are concerned, but yes, with their chosen way of life, they cannot physically, they cannot every time, they cannot all the time devote as a few of us can do. And that's why this idea of appealing, seeking support, by inviting, by informing, by triggering that urge to contribute, whatever means, tana mana dhana jivana paryanta. And that's how in Mumbai this effort began in 2016, except 2021 when we could not organize this annual event of Northeast Calling. In 2020, amidst the COVID situation, a national level webinar was organized online. 2022, we came out of Mumbai, so to say, and had the program in Thane. This year, in the early part, April 23rd, along with this western part, we went to south. We had the similar program in Bangalore. And today, this has reached this Punyanagari, Vidyanagari, Pune. I am sure, we are all sure, that this appeal in the form of Northeast Calling. Now, where from this Northeast Calling term came? Manani Eknathji used to write a column in the monthly magazine of Vivekananda Kendra, English magazine, Yuva Bharati, by this title, Northeast Calling. So we thought that let us continue the legacy of Mananiya Eknathji in this form. We hope today's this session will trigger similar positive and wholesome response as we are getting in Mumbai, from Mumbai, and through Mumbai, maybe many more places. With these few words, I close here. Namaskar.
Now I invite and welcome our today's chief guest, Dr. Ganesh Natarajan, and chairperson of this program, Mananiya Nivedita Didi, at the stage. Please. I request Kiranji Kirtane, VK Pranta Sanchalak, Maharashtra Pranta, to accompany them at the stage. I request them to light the lamp and inaugurate the function. To know what is the impact of Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalayas in Arunachal Pradesh, I now invite Mr. Vishal Datta, ex-student VKV rowing, to share his experiences.
A very good evening to one and all. This is Kumar Vishal Datta, the founder president of Pratha Indic Renaissance, the officially appreciated youth body by Government of India. And I am the patent engineer at Tata Elxsi. First of all, respected honorable guest in the dais and Mananiya Nivedita Didi. Well, I'm standing here, not just an individual, but I would like to represent the tens and thousands of socially and economically backward students in the isolated and neglected state of Arunachal Pradesh. I myself belong to a lower middle class family without much of resources. From one of the farthest corners of Arunachal Pradesh, that is Roing. It was without electricity, without any kind of basic necessities of life like electricity, transportation, or even basic food supply. And this was the case with most of the townships and villages of Arunachal Pradesh. Yet, we got a hope. And that hope came in the form of Vivekananda Kendra, which was also the first and the only private school chain that we got in our state of Arunachal Pradesh. Well, it was not like any other private school that makes or ensures only formal literacy rate. While, as Swami Vivekananda always said, and I quote, "I believe in education which creates man and which creates and builds character," unquote. And this is what Vivekananda Kendra always focused upon. Our days in our school would always start with bhajans and many a times with Bhagavad Gita chantings, and always ended with the same. There were sessions of deep meditation and yoga, even for primary and high secondary students. Well, the VKVN child inside me was always getting engrossed with the big portrait of Swami Vivekananda in the auditorium hall of VKV rowing. I was very much engrossed by the dynamic personality and the pose that Swami Vivekananda has. I still has a photo of Vivekananda, and I always keep it with me. And I could never resist myself in putting up the picture of Swami Vivekananda and getting the much needed strength whenever it is needed in several instances of my life. I'm also very much grateful to Nivedita Didi and Vivekananda Kendra for providing me with a godmother, Radha Didi. And she is the lifetime member of Vivekananda Kendra and Dakshin Pranta Sangathak at our Kendra. Her visits to our school and the interactions that we had with her is one of the most beloved memories that I cherish from our school days. I got to know what real modesty, kindness, politeness means in its most purest form in her. I would also like to credit her for building up my persona as well. I'm still in contact with Radha Didi, Nivedita Didi, and I feel very much fortunate enough to get guidance, much needed guidance, whenever it is needed. They are always available, both Nivedita Didi and Radha Didi. Besides that, I am also remember that when I got completely numb in the state level finals of National Science Congress, even after doing a lot of hard work for many months, I was unable to even utter a single word out of stage fear. I lost all of my confidence. Besides that, I felt myself a complete failure after that. Yet, it was only after Rita Didi, our principal, and all the teachers who consoled me, guided me, mentored me. And in the following year itself, I got success and won a series of state level finals, both national level exhibitions, national congress, national seminars, and all consecutively. And I was the only student from our school to do so till date. Thank you. Besides that, I'm also very much fortunate to get teachers from Vivekananda Kendra who use very much innovative techniques and the parental care that they took. And that has transformed students like me who are very much below average students, we can say, who we got just passing marks in our primary standards. And this student who is standing aside you, who got just passing marks in the primary standards, got highest marks in the boards, and I got more than 95% because of our teachers at Vivekananda Kendra. And this is the same student who represented the state of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh in the Parliament of India for diplomatic policy making, and was felicitated by Education Minister, then Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank sir. Besides that, I have also started my NGO by getting inspiration from Nivedita Tai, Radha Didi, and the works of Vivekananda Kendra. And for all our activities, a book that is also available in Amazon has been written about us. A biography on me also has been written upon us. It's by Dr. Omkar Singh Batra, the Presidential Awardee. Besides that, I'm very much thankful for whatever things that Vivekananda Kendra has done for the state of Arunachal Pradesh, and mere students like me, the average students like me, and transformed the lives. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vivekananda Kendra. Thank you, Nivedita Didi.
Thanks, Vishal. Now I invite Mr. Itemso Malo, ex-student VKV Amliang, to share his experiences.
Swami Vivekananda said that the education is not the preparation of life, but the education itself is a life. So a very fine namaskar everyone present here. First of all, my heartiest warm and welcome to our guests, Nivedita Didi, and all my dear sisters and brothers. I am Itemso Malo, doing diploma in mechanical engineering, and I am very proud to say that I have done my class 10 from the Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya. And I'm very thankful for giving me such a great opportunity to share a great experience which I have been in Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya as a hosteler. और मैं ये experience अपने सिनेतान के share करना चाहूँगा. Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya is not just a school, but we can say that it is a home, monastery, temple, or we can say that it is a creator of life, जहाँ पे student को हर वो चीज़ मिलता, जहाँ पे स्टूडेंट को हर वो चीज़ मिलता जो कि उसकी लाइफ में ज़रूरी है, जिससे कि लोगों से बातचीत कैसे किया जाता, डिसिप्लिन, ऑनेस्टी, ह्यूमैनिटी एंड द वेज ऑफ लिविंग. और उसके बाद जो विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय की जो प्रेयर है, इट मेक्स द स्टूडेंट्स ए वेरी यूनिक एंड ए सिस्टमेटिक लाइफ. और विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय में जो बॉन्डिंग रहता स्टूडेंट एंड टीचर के बीच में, रिलेशन बॉन्डिंग, जो कि एक स्टूडेंट लाइफ में बहुत ज़रूरी है, और ये सब चीज़ विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय में देखने को मिलता है। और ऐसे ही चलते एक दिन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से बाय द इसरो वहाँ से एक नोटिस आया कि इसरो यंग साइंटिस्ट प्रोग्राम कंडक्ट किया जाएंगे, और इसके लिए एक कंपटीशन रखा है। तो टीचर ने मुझे बहुत बड़े सपने दिखा दिया कि इफ़ यू विल बी सेलेक्टेड इन दिस प्रोग्राम मे बी इट्स गोइंग टू चेंज योर लाइफ। देन आई वॉज वेरी एक्साइटेड and started thinking, and I started asking all the questions about the ISRO young scientists and how to join it, how to prepare it. So teacher ne with full of cooperation he have helped me, and I have prepared and I gave the exam, and at the end of the result finally I was luckily and selected for the ISRO young scientist program. It was out of more than 18 lakhs students gave the examination, but only 150 students has been selected in whole India. But 4 students were from अरुणाचल प्रदेश, एंड गर्व की बात तो ये है कि वो हम सारे चारों स्टूडेंट्स विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय के थे। और हमने वहाँ जा करके बहुत सारे बड़े बड़े साइंटिस्ट, ग्रेट साइंटिस्ट से मिला, एंड वी वेंट टू श्रीहरिकोटा जहाँ से चंद्रयान 3 लॉन्च हुआ था, और वहाँ में हमें बहुत बड़े ग्रेट साइंटिस्ट से मिलने को मिला। दे हैव टेकन आवर क्लासेस, एंड इवन नासा साइंटिस्ट हैज़ बीन टेकन आवर क्लासेस। और इसके बाद हमें इसरो की चेयरमैन एस सोमनाथ के हाथ से सर्टिफिकेट मिला, एंड इट वाज वेरी ग्रेट फॉर मी। एंड उसके बाद वी गॉट अ चांस टू मीट द मिशन डायरेक्टर ऑफ चंद्रयान 3, हिज नेम आई फॉरगेट नेम, नॉट एस सोमनाथ, मिशन डायरेक्टर ऑफ चंद्रयान 3, दैट इज डिफरेंट, मोहन कुमार, डॉक्टर मोहन कुमार ही वाज। और उसके बाद बीइंग इन वीकेवी, उसके बाद मुझे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला ये सब चीज़, और वहाँ जाके मुझे रियल एजुकेशन का मतलब पता चला कि वहाँ के साइंटिस्ट बीइंग ए ग्रेट साइंटिस्ट दे वर वेरी सिंपल लिविंग, और मैं जो बचपन से सुन के आ रहा सिंपल लिविंग हाई थिंकिंग, और मुझे वहाँ जाके एकदम प्रैक्टिकली देखने को मिल गया कि सिंपल लिविंग हाई थिंकिंग कैसे रहता, और यहाँ भी बहुत सारे लोग हैं वैसे। और उसके बाद वहाँ से जा करके मुझे लाइफ की एम्बिशन के बारे में पता चला, मेरे लाइफ में एम्बिशन क्या, बिकॉज बिफोर डेट आई वॉज जस्ट ब्लेन कि मेरे लाइफ में क्या करना है वो सब कुछ आइडिया नहीं था मुझे। एंड आफ्टर दैट बीइंग इन वीकेवी आई हैव डन ए प्रोजेक्ट, देयर इज आई हैव रिसर्च ऑन द सोइल दैट्स कॉल्ड सैंडी लोमी सोइल, जो कि आई हैव ट्राइड टू improve the water retention capacity of the soil, which was probably faced by the villagers in the rural area, and I have solved it. Within 2 months I have researched, and ये ख़त्म होने के बाद with the full cooperation of teacher मैंने उसे नेट में रिसर्च के लिए भेजा, मीन्स क्या नेट में भेजा चेकअप के लिए। उसके बाद फाइनली दे हैव द इंटरनेशनल जर्नल हैज़ बीन सेलेक्टेड, रिव्यू के लिए भेजा, और इंटरनेशनल जर्नल हैव बीन सेलेक्टेड, एंड आफ्टर दैट दे हैव पब्लिश माई पेपर, and I got the certificate, the name of author E.T.M. Malo। और मैं ये कहूँगा उसके बाद मैं वहाँ में जो विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय है, दे मेनली वी यूज्ड टू देयर इज टू प्रोग्राम इज देयर NCSC मीन्स नेशनल स्टूडेंट साइंस कांग्रेस, तो मैंने उधर भी पार्टिसिपेट किया, एंड एट द स्टेट लेवल आउट ऑफ 90 स्टूडेंट्स इन ऑल अरुणाचल प्रदेश आई गॉट द फर्स्ट प्लेस इन दैट टाइम, एंड आई वेंट फॉर दी, एंड उसके बाद मैं नेशनल लेवल गया। नेशनल लेवल में गुजरात के जो टेक्नोलॉजी डायरेक्टर है उन्हें से बहुत अप्रिशिएट मिला कि उसने कहा कि पब्लिक पेपर पब्लिश करना ये तो PhD वालों की काम है, बट यू आर बीइंग इन क्लास 10 यू हैव पब्लिश योर पेपर, जैसे भी। और मैं बहुत खुश हो गया, और ये सब इसलिए हुआ क्योंकि मैंने आई हैव डन माई स्कूलिंग और आई हैव स्टडीड इन द विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय। शायद से अगर मैं विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय में पढ़ाई ना किया होता तो ये सब चीज़ मुझे अचीवमेंट नहीं मिलता, और इसरो के बड़े बड़े साइंटिस्ट से मिलने का मौका नहीं मिलता। और अभी भी जब भी मैं कुछ प्रॉब्लम होता हूँ, अभी मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग में कर रहा हूँ, और ये चॉइस करने से पहले भी मैंने पहले इसरो के साइंटिस्ट से उससे कंसर्न किया, उसे कॉल किया, सर एक्चुअली मैं अभी मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग ले रहा हूँ, ये मेरे लिए ठीक रहेगा या नहीं रहेगा? तो उसने कहा हाँ तेरे लिए बहुत अच्छा, उसने पूरा गाइड किया, तो मैंने फाइनली ले लिया। और ये सब चीज़ विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय का वजह से हुआ, अदरवाइज मैं तो बस गाँव में ऐसे ही बैठ रहा होता। और मैं कहूँगा जैसे कि आज मैं यहाँ पे आप सभी के सामने एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करूँ विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय के बारे में, एंड आई एम 100% श्योर डेट वन डे मैं अपने गर्व के साथ सिर उठा के सीना तान के दुनिया के सामने ये कहूँगा कि मेरी पढ़ाई विवेकानंद केंद्र विद्यालय से हुआ है। सो लास्टली मैं कहूँगा कि और जब एक स्लोगन से एंड करना चाहेंगे, जब मैं कहूँगी आज की आनंद की, यू हैव टू से जय विवेकानंद की, ओके, विद फुल ऑफ जोश। और उसके बाद जब मैं कहूँगा ईस्ट होया वेस्ट, देन यू हैव टू से स्वामी जी इज द बेस्ट, ओके। ओके रेडी एवरीवन, सब तैयार? हाँ। आज की आनंद की, आज की आनंद की, ईस्ट होया वेस्ट, ईस्ट होया वेस्ट। Okay, thanks a lot for giving me such an opportunity. Thank you.
Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our today's chief guest, Dr. Ganesh Natarajan. Dr. Natarajan is founder of Global Talent Track Private Limited. He is a business person who has been at the head of 7 different companies and holds the position of chairman at Social Venture Partners India. He is president and CEO Information Technology at RPG Group and chairman at Honeywell Automation India Limited. Dr. Natarajan is ex-chairman of NASSCOM. Dr. Natarajan was vice chairman of Zenskar Technologies Limited. Natarajan received a doctorate from IIT Bombay. I welcome Dr. Natarajan. Here I am grateful to introduce today's program's chief chairperson, Mananiya Nivedita Bide. Nivedita Didi is All India Vice President of Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari. She joined as a Jivanbrati in 1977. Initially, she worked in the Rural Development Program in Kanyakumari district. Later, she served as principal of Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya at Kanyakumari. She was secretary of All India Shiksha Prasar Vibhag and provided guidance to VKIC Guwahati. She has been conferred Padma Shri by the Government of India in 2018 and has received several awards in the due course. Recently, she served as a member of the steering committee of C20 vertical of G20. Again, warm welcome to both our dignitaries. I request Mananiya Nivedita Didi to felicitate our chief guest, Dr. Ganesh Natarajan. Now, I request our chief guest, Dr. Natarajan, to felicitate both the alumni of VKV who shared their experiences with us. Now, I invite Shivani Dai for Vivek Vani.
Take up one idea and live on that idea. Dream of it, think of it, and live on it. Let the body, brain, muscles, nerves, and every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success, and this is the way great spiritual giants are produced. Others are mere talking machines. Swami Vivekananda.
Now I invite our chief guest, Dr. Ganesh Natarajan, for his guidance.
Kumari Nivedita ji, Kiran, my friend, and sisters and brothers of Pune. It is a real pleasure. Actually, this happened quite by accident because I have a very good friend, Dhananjay Keskar, whom some of you may know. He was the head of IBS, then spent 10 years in Mauritius. So he called me one day and said that, look, you have to come as chief guest for a function. So I said, I may not have time, all the usual things. Then he came to my house with Kiranji. And then they told me it's on Gandhi Jayanti, no, I can't tell them I'm busy on that day because nobody works on Gandhi Jayanti. Okay. So I had no choice. But then I started thinking, and my association with the Ramakrishna Mission and Vivekananda is so strong, which they did not know when they came to invite me, that when I told my wife, and she was in America at that time, she said, you absolutely have to go. So let me tell you three things. Okay, one is why I think this whole concept of the Vivekananda Kendra, and of course what everything that Vivekananda means to us, right from Prime Minister Modi down to the most common man in this country, why it's important. I'll tell you my own story also, and where my inspirations for so many things I've done in life and so many things I have to do came from. And then of course I will talk about the topic, which is, what do we need to do with our youth to make sure that they stop wasting time on WhatsApp and Facebook and actually start doing the task of nation building. So these are the three things I'll try and cover in 20 minutes. First of all, my own journey. I was just telling Sister Nivedita that my father was actually born and raised in a little village called Vadivishwaram, which is about 10 kilometers from Kanyakumari. And my grandfather was actually a school teacher in that little village of Vadivishwaram. And because he was a school teacher, and I guess he had plenty of time, he had 14 children, okay? Only one wife. Okay. So my poor father was the eldest son in the family. And as you know, Indian tradition is that the eldest son takes care of everything, the parents, the siblings and everything else. So after finishing his BSc in St. Joseph's in Trichy, he actually moved to Calcutta because I think the eldest sister who had married somebody who was setting up a South Indian restaurant in Calcutta. So he said, you also come and join me in the restaurant. So my father went there and was fortunate to meet two Marwadi gentlemen called Gargs. And they together set up a company called Waxpol Industries, which was very small in those days, but became very famous in Calcutta because of car polishes, industrial greases, etc. Anybody who comes from Calcutta will say, oh, of course I know Waxpol. It's very interesting. And after some time, of course, I was born in Calcutta and spent the first 5 years of my life there. But then they were setting up a large factory and my father said, look, let us set it in a low-cost place. And in those days, probably in these days also, the lowest cost state was Bihar. And my father actually went to Ranchi and set up this factory in a little village called Tatisilvai, which is about 10 kilometers from Ranchi, if anybody knows east. And I grew up there in the sense that I started school in a Christian missionary school called Bishop Escott in a place called Namkum, which is between Ranchi and Tatisilvai. And then I went to college in Birla Institute of Technology. So I only left Ranchi literally at the age of 21 when I finished my mechanical engineering. But my father was always fascinated by the Ramakrishna Mission because he had actually joined the Ramakrishna Mission in Calcutta, which is this very majestic building. And when he moved to Ranchi, my mother says, the first thing he did even before we set up house was to go to the Ramakrishna Mission and tell them that, look, he is available for any form of social service to be done. And at that time, of course, the Ramakrishna Mission was still small in Ranchi. But Swami Yukteswarananda, who was the presiding monk in the Ramakrishna Mission, he told my father that, look, why don't you, you're obviously an industrialist. We don't want you to become a monk. But why don't you set up a Seva Kendra, which is, literally a Kendra where there were 6 villages near our house. So he said, make sure that all the children, all the young people in the 6 villages around Tatisilvai are able to get the benefit of some education, some etc., etc. And I was very young, as you can imagine, I was 6 or 7 years old. But I remember meeting Swami Yukteswarananda when I was probably 8 years old. And I was fascinated first by the monk costume. Okay, so I was like, I was looking at him And I remember the first thing he told me was that, look, I am a monk, but you're a monkey. So monkeys can, until for the next 10 years, I used to go with my father every month to the Ramakrishna Mission and listen to him. And it was amazing. And he told me that, look, if you're a monkey, you cannot be Sri Ramakrishna. So your only option is to be like Vivekananda. And he gave me, I still remember, some 10 books, and I was probably 8 or 9 years old. But simple books, and I really read them end to end. And then he said, now that you have read it, every time the Ramakrishna Mission in Ranchi has a function, I will call you and you have to recite the Parliament of Religion's address of Swami Vivekananda. I'm sure many of you have read it. I, by the way, hate Swami Vivekananda's face and somebody's voice coming through it. So it is completely not authentic. So my appeal to the organizers, please don't do that again. Because you remember Swami Vivekananda as somebody who's quintessentially Indian, but when you get some American accent coming out of that mouth, it doesn't appeal to me. So I used to, right from the age of 8 till I was 15 years old, I have probably recited that speech maybe 40, 50 times in Ranchi. Because it was Swami Yukteswarananda's favorite hobby to call me, and I used to love it. And it became a source of amazing inspiration to us. And I literally know more about Swami Vivekananda than probably his father, who was a High Court judge in Calcutta, would know, because I've done so much research on Swami Vivekananda. And I remember when I was probably 11 years old, I think it was 1968, I was born in 1957. And then Swami Yukteswarananda called me and said, now you must start learning the songs of Vivekananda. As many of you would know, Vivekananda ji actually first met Sri Ramakrishna when it's at a house in Calcutta where he had gone to listen to some music. The singer did not come. So Vivekananda actually sang the songs. I mean, at that time he was Narendranath Dutt, not Swami Vivekananda. And Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was coming to Ranchi. I don't know the reason because I was 11 years old. And they asked the Ramakrishna Mission that, would you send 5 children to sing the welcome song for the Prime Minister? And naturally I was there and 4 other children, and we sang the song and we got patted on the back by the Prime Minister. So we were all very happy. Next morning, we discovered that Prime Minister Gandhi's full entourage, cavalcade of cars, is going to pass by the Seva Kendra, because she was going, if any of you know the geography, she was going from Ranchi to a town called Purulia, and Tata Silva is actually on Purulia Road, so it's on the road. And she was going to pass at around 7:30, 7:45. So my father is the eternal optimist. So my father said, we have got to get the Prime Minister to come to our Seva Kendra. My mother said, it's Sunday morning, please don't waste your time, okay, this is not going to happen. So my father said, no, we have to do it, we have to try, nothing wrong in trying, okay. So the 5 of us who had sang the song the previous evening in Moravadi Stadium for Prime Minister Gandhi, we actually stood on the road at 7 in the morning. It was very cold. Ranchi tends to be rather cold. And my father said, start singing. My mother was there and she said, why are you telling them to start singing 7 in the morning? I said, no, let them sing. And you know how it is. Nowadays, of course, it's all very fancy, bulletproof cars. But in those days, it was one ambulance followed by 40 white ambassadors. And you don't know which of the ambassadors contains the Prime Minister. So the the ambulance passed, 4 police jeeps, 40 ambassadors, 4 more police jeeps, 1 more ambulance. And my mother said, now can we go home so that we can have breakfast? My father said, wait. And sure enough, you will not believe it, ladies and gentlemen, 1 white ambassador turned around, followed by a police jeep, and came back to where we were sitting. And Mrs. Gandhi got out of the car and said, weren't you the children that sang yesterday? So, I still get goose pimples when I think of that moment. And my father would say, no, Madam, you have to come and visit. So he had all 40 children ready in the Seva Kendra. We sang songs for her. And can you believe Prime Minister Gandhi had the same village milk that all of us had, and she actually sipped from it. So for me, and my father used to tell me that, look, if you have belief, like Vivekananda, like Swami Ramakrishna, nothing is too big. Mrs. Gandhi is Prime Minister of the country, but she's also a human being. So when all her good intent is flowing through your music, of course she will stop. Well, I never tried that with Prime Minister Modi, so don't ask me if it worked or not. But the point I'm making is, these are the simple lessons of life that totally inspired us. And very recently I was in San Francisco, and somebody said, can you do a TED Talk? Okay, you know what a TED Talk is. So, people were expecting I will talk about technology, talk about whatever, that is my background. So instead I chose a topic called Funtoosh and the Beanstalk. All of you heard Beanstalk? Anybody read Jack and the Beanstalk? Yes, no? So there's a little boy called Jack, and he suddenly sees out, and there's a huge beanstalk going to the heavens. And why did I choose Fantush and the beanstalk? Because my best friend throughout my school days was a little village boy called Fantush. Fantush was actually the third son of my father's driver. Total village boy, but he was my absolute best friend. I mean, even today when I think of Fantush, it's like, thinking of a long lost brother. And if you compare what Fantush is doing today, okay, he and I are both 66 years old. I went back to meet him about 6 years ago. Nothing has changed. He still lives in a house, a mud house in Tatisilvai. Tatisilvai, to my mind, remains the poorest village in the poorest state of the country. The state has changed from Bihar to Jharkhand, but it hasn't made too much difference to Tatisilvai. And Fantush proudly is bringing up a family of his wife and 3 children on a salary of 7,500 rupees per month. He's still managing. He's still very optimistic. He says, sir, बहुत अच्छा होगा. अब देखिए BJP क्या करता है, the usual thing. And I was like, it was shocking to me 6 years back. That's while we keep talking about India is shining and India is doing this and we are the gods of G20 and everything else, there is still 400 million young people like Fantush who don't even think of a better life. And I will tell you one more story I remember. That was after that, the demonetization happened, if many of you remember. And the first phone call I got was like a call from Ranchi. And he said, let me speak in Bhojpuri. He says, बाबू अब ठीक तो है ना? I said, भैया मुझे क्या होगा? मैं तो ठीक ही हूँ. He said, नहीं सुनने में आया है कि मुकेश अंबानी भी राशन के लाइन में खड़ा हुआ है. So one thing that has always struck me is, and that is something that actually Sri Vidyasagar taught Swami Vivekananda, that whatever you do not think negative thoughts about other people. If you don't think of a single positive thing to say, it is fine. But do not say negative things about people. Today when you watch television and there's election campaign going on, and kya gali nahi de rahe hain logon ko. Everybody, every politician in this country. And I feel that what happened, on one hand we have pictures of Swami Vivekananda in every office in Delhi and everywhere else. But the basic core of saying do not say negative things about people has evaded us altogether. You see my point? So Fantush is more happy that he thinks or imagines that Mukesh Ambani is in a ration line than should I do a better thing for myself and my children. So when I hear these 2 boys, it moves me. Because they are imbibed with hope. The confidence ki, because of the Vivekananda Kendra and what they are doing in Arunachal Pradesh, I will bring a better life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have to make happen for our children and grandchildren, and not only here in Pune, Punyanagari or Vidyanagari as we called it, but in Amravati, in the villages, and all the way down to whether it's Arunachal Pradesh or Manipur, which is burning today, or all the other parts of the country. Only then would we have served our purpose as true Indians. Only then do we deserve to call ourselves Bharatiya. Okay, till that time, the great digital divide of India and Bharat will continue to happen. So let me come to my topic. Throughout my life, I have kind of a lot of people say that, look, हाँ बहुत काम कर लिया corporate sector में, बैंक में बहुत पैसा कमा लिया, now let me do social service. But thanks to from the age of 8 being part of the Seva Kendra and watching my father, whether he had money to take us to a restaurant or not, 70% of his earnings would go to charity. To the extent that my wife and I signed a pledge 20 years back called Living My Promise, saying that everything we earn in our lives, 50% will go to charitable causes. So sorry, I didn't make it for Taliyam, but I'm just making a very genuine statement. And what do we do today? I've realized that if you look at this country, the worst hit are children in the rural areas of India. Okay, so one of the entities that I'm part of, called Educate Girls, some of you may have heard of it, set up by an amazing Muslim woman called Safina Hussain. And Safina's entire mission is that every tribal girl should finish school, should not get married before the age of 18, and should have a chance to choose her own life. So we started work in Pali, Rajasthan, which is one of the poorest districts, moved to Madhya Pradesh, where we've more or less saturated all the tribal areas, moved to Uttar Pradesh, now just starting work in Bihar. So I told Safina Jharkhand. She said, no, Jharkhand I don't want to do. I'll convince her one day. So these 4 states, we've now worked with almost 7.5 lakh girl children. And the quality of work that we do is absolutely amazing. And I used to ask Safina that, look, who's giving you the money for all this? Safina Hussain is the kind of person, we just made a new plan for the next 10 years for Educate Girls. And the plan is so ambitious, it will take close to 1,500 crores, 1,500 crores to make this happen. So the board, all of us turned around to Safina. Safina says, don't worry about the money. Money is my problem. I'll get it from somewhere. I'll get it from America, get it from Europe, somewhere. Let us make the plan and make this happen for the girl child in India. Second, Swadesh Foundation. I don't know if you've heard of it. Swadesh Foundation is started by a very, very, very rich gentleman from television industry called Ronnie Screwvala. Okay, most of you would have heard of Ronnie Screwvala. And Ronnie and his fine wife Zarina, they started this process and got many of us, Dr. Marshilkar, myself, Amit Chandra, various people from Mahindras, as the initial board for them. We first started in Raigad district, Ratnagiri in Maharashtra. And today if you go to Raigad, in fact I'm planning to take a delegation in January, so any of you who are interested, we can join this. They have taken every village in the district of Raigad and completely transformed it. It's not only better irrigation systems, better job opportunities, all the schools have been transformed, etc. And then of course, since I'm chairman of Honeywell in India, I also got them funding from Honeywell. And we are now transforming 40 villages around Nasik. So initially Maharashtra, but here is a total grassroots stuff that is happening there. The third one, which of course is my own entity, which some of you may have heard of, called Pune City Connect, which is now called Lighthouse Communities. So we are setting up a skills lighthouse in every administrative ward in Pune Municipal Corporation. In fact, 14 wards, 14 lighthouses. Started in Aundh, now we are literally in every ward. And very recently we met Shekhar Singh, who's the commissioner of Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation. And Shekharji said that, look, if you've done so much for 540 slums in Pune, you give me a saturation project. You know what a saturation project is? There are 1.6 lakh young people in the age group of 18 to 25 in Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation slums. He said, I want you to transform each one of them over the next 10 years. So we did a quick calculation and we said, sir, it will take about 35-40 crores. He said, look, I'll give you all the buildings. I'll give you 16 centers. You set up your lighthouses there, but go get the money. And we just, I keep saying, in today is Gandhi Jayanti, so I must say, use one of Gandhiji's statements. He said, find purpose, the means will follow. If the purpose is that there should be no uneducated, unemployed youth in Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, so we went and talked to various people, including Bajaj Foundation, which was very generous. But then, just about 2 months back, we got Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, which is an American foundation. And Michael Dell came and met us in Delhi, where we run one of the lighthouses. And he said, what do you need? I said, we need about 30 crores. So he asked somebody, how many millions of dollars is that? So somebody told him. He said, that's nothing, send them tomorrow. So they suddenly said, oh my God, 30 crores. And Shekhar Singh is so delighted, कि भाई इतना जल्दी कैसे हो गया? I said, सब कुछ हो जाता है, sir. Back to my father's inspiration, that if you really want to do something which is for good of society, it will happen. So sir, I will tell you the same thing. Okay, we will, whatever money you raised from Bombay, we will double it in Pune. Okay. And let me start by offering you a 1 lakh check, which is just a small token amount from my side. But there are many much richer people in Pune who can absolutely give you the money. And madam, what you're doing is a cause which is absolutely amazing. What they're doing in Arunachal Pradesh is what we will eventually grow up in Lighthouse to go from the cities to the states. So what is it I've learned? As maybe many of you know, I've done work in skills almost throughout my life. Initially started off building my own company in Mumbai. Then I joined NIIT in Delhi, where obviously is one of the first computer education training institutions in the country. Then at the age of 33, somebody offered me by mistake to become CEO of a company called Aptech. And Aptech was in Mumbai. And in 1991, when I joined, it was 300 employees, 4 crore revenue, and 11 crores loss. It takes caliber to make 11 crore loss on 4 crore revenue. Only a Gujarati businessman can do it. But and I'll just tell you a story, because this kind of strikes me about youth. So I asked people, what is the attrition in Aptech? You know what attrition is? How many people leave within 1 year, etc. So HR had not calculated. So then they calculated and came back and told me is 176%. Now if you calculate 176%, it means the average tenure of an employee in Aptech was 9.5 months. How do you build a company like that? And it's a long story short, but when I left Aptech, you will be surprised, from 7 training centers, 5 in Mumbai and 1 in Calcutta and Ranchi and Jamshedpur, don't ask me why, we had grown to 1,400 education centers, 42 countries, and we were market leaders in 24 countries, including in China. And it was and our attrition came down from 176% to less than 10%. Because of the cause, find purpose, the means will follow. Now suddenly we had a team of people who were so enthusiastic, so charged up, saying we are teaching the whole world, whole country, computer education. And if you look at our proudest industry today, which I then became part of in Zensar in Pune for 15 years, it is the software exports industry. I mean, today it employs directly 60 lakh young people. It employs indirectly another 2 crore young people and has made India truly, truly proud. Today, of course, my friend Nandan Nilikani with UPI and digital payments is doing the second big miracle, and there will be many, many more miracles that's coming out of India. EVs itself, electric vehicles is also an important area. But what is it? I mean, I can still give you examples of Aptech and Zensar and all these, but these are all middle class people, people like who are your children and my children, your grandchildren, my grandchild. But how do we take Fantush? How do we take these young boys from Arunachal Pradesh and give them that vision that they can be as good as anybody else? Okay, it's not through political speeches, it is not through drama, it is through actual work on the ground. And if you really think about it, okay, at the end of the day, we have to first ensure that the hygiene parameters are taken care of, which means every child growing up, whether in Pali, Rajasthan, whether in Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation or Itanagar in Arunachal Pradesh, should have the expectation that they will get 2 square meals a day. So body, mind and soul have to be together. And then we can work on their intellect. Because I think the intellect is what made Swami Vivekananda at the age of 20 what he was, whether it's Presidency College or all the other areas that we went through. And it is the opportunity to experiment, rather than putting somebody in a box and says, I'm a rich man, you're a poor guy, I'll create a training center for you and you come and you do it. It doesn't work like that. So even when we started Lighthouse Communities, and we told ourselves that, look, why has skills failed in this country? I mean, are you aware that right from 2014, so many skills initiatives have been done. National Skills Development Corporation, Skills India Mission, etc. In the early years, and I've done research on this, out of 300,000 people who were trained through the Skills Mission, do you know that only 12% took up jobs after that? And out of the 12%, 50% dropped out in 3 months. Why? Because nobody asked the poor boy, what do you want to do? Because we are rich people. Okay, we create a plumbing institute, sabko andar kar dete hain. I remember I spent half a day in Dharavi, just about 3 years back, I think before COVID. And I talked to this little boy, very similar to this young man who came from Arunachal. And I said, tum kya kar rahe ho bhaiya? He said, main ye skills institute mein padhai kar raha hu. I said, uske baad kya karoge? He said, main koi dusra skills institute join karunga. I said, what have you done? He said, 3 saal mein main 6 skills ho gaya. He's learned everything from plumbing to some accounting work to some IT work. I said, क्यों भाई? He said, नहीं सर, घर से बाहर रहते हैं ना तो कोई पूछता नहीं कि तुम कर क्या रहे हो और खाना भी मिलता है. So I'm saying, if this is what we are investing in skills, I mean, what a cynical opportunity. So when we started Lighthouse here, and I remember Mr. Kunal Kumar, who was the commissioner then, 6 years back when we started, I talked to Kunal and I said, look, we were doing these little skill centers in Zensar, and we cannot design this model together. We said, let us not teach a skill. Okay, it doesn't matter, because the skill that you teach the slum child, he may or may not like it, he may or may not take up a job. And as I said, 12% employment is just not what it is. So Kunal and I discussed this model and we said, look, let us first get these people into 6 weeks of a safe space. Today, if you walk into any of our lighthouses, any of you would like to do that, just let me know. You will see a nice building given to us by the municipal corporation. Okay, where it is actually when a child has grown up for 18 years or 16 years in a real slum house, I don't know how many of you have been to slum houses, but they're really tough. It kind of cramps the brain. So we just let them play. We give them, we give them various singing and yoga and everything else, very similar to what I'm sure the Vivekananda Kendras must be doing. At the end of 6 weeks, their mind is open to possibilities. Then we say, okay, there are these 40 skills in front of you. And somebody will say, I want to be a guitar instructor. Somebody will say, I want to be a yoga instructor. Somebody will say what we hope he'll say, that I want to be in IT or office administration. But no dream left behind. Because every child, every youth must dream, and it is our responsibility to make that dream come true. So our guarantee is, whatever you want to do within the realm of reason, We will make sure that you get the skills to make it happen. But only after you open your mind to the art of the possible. And that has been our success. And I also remember asking Kunal Kumar ki, isme to paisa bahut lagega. He says, one thing I'll tell you, Ganesh, especially when it comes to municipal corporations, never give money to the government and never take money from the government. So I said, this is interesting. He said, but then there's no question of corruption, tenders, L1, vagera, vagera, kuch nahi hai. So the model we did is very simple. It works for us today with 22 lighthouses in Pune. It works for us in 3 lighthouses with the AAP government in Delhi. We are now taking up the entire state of Odisha and setting up 18 lighthouses in the state. The model is very simple. The entire capital, okay, the buildings, the refurbishing, the computers, everything is given by the government. Why do they give it to us? It's their building, it's their computers. They can throw us out anytime. And we go raise 25, 30 crores every year from Michael and Susan Dell, from Bajaj Foundation, from so many others, and we run the centers. You see the beauty of the model? We are not taking money from the government, it's their facility. They are not taking money from us, we are running the center. Anytime you want, you can throw us out. And the model is so good. Today, wherever we go, the corporator will come and say, mere constituency mein bhi ek lighthouse kar do. Because it has become a political card that, we are giving skills to all these people. So that is the virtuousness of a model that does good for people without any selfishness. Okay, which is why I'm saying, I don't know whether I can directly attribute to my initial training in the Ramakrishna Mission and with Swami Vivekananda, but clearly we realize, and we do not allow anybody to say anything negative. Okay, the first thing that is arrested in the lighthouse is if somebody makes a negative remark about his friend, about his family, about politicians, nothing. We don't, because why? Who are we to criticize somebody else? So long as we can, I keep saying, so long as we can make sure the 9 foot by 9 foot around each of us is a nice, healthy, clean, good place, we have nothing to worry about. So that is what my belief is, ladies and gentlemen, that every Bharatiya has the right to dream. Every Bharatiya has the right to believe that he can be Prime Minister Modi or he can be Mukesh Ambani or whatever. There are some people who are privileged. I was not privileged. I told you my family background. So we struggle and come up the hard way, which I'm sure many of you do. But don't be jealous of somebody whose second name is Ambani or Bajaj. That's fine. Go to them and ask for money. Okay, and I think that is the best thing to do. Because they also owe it to us. I remember going for Rajiv Bajaj's New Year party about 4 years ago. So he called me and said, look, you're fascinated about Northeast. So he had called the Shillong Orchestra to come and perform in the Hyatt Hotel there. And it was absolutely amazing. And I know Rajiv, and of course his father Rahul Bhai was very, very passionate about social causes. So I was just telling Kiran that, the first person we should go to is Rajiv and Sanjeev Bajaj and say, this is what we're doing and let's make it happen. So I'm saying there are people who are willing to help, show them the right cause, and they can make it happen. So, and the cause of children, as I said with Educate Girls, the cause of total village transformation or district transformation like it's happening with Swadesh Foundation, or indeed the cause of youth and making sure that women get their opportunity like Seva is doing all across Gujarat, and getting to maybe collaborate. And I'm going to approach Nivedita ji and say that, look, can we work with you in Arunachal Pradesh? Because at some stage we want to expand the lighthouses across the 7 sisters of Northeast. So it will be wonderful to see how good institutions can collaborate together and make it happen. So all I can say is, nobody is asking for money. We are asking for time. Okay? And if the time is there, the instinct is there that, look, we have to collaboratively, jointly make India a great nation, I think we will succeed. I've written 14 books in my life, and in 9 out of those 14 books, I contrive it in such a way that the last line is always quoting Swami Vivekananda. If you remember his famous lines, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us do that. You will find this evening worthwhile. We will all find our lives worthwhile if we can give back to society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Natarajan. He has opened the whole canvas and he has showed us the path, how we can help for the nation building, and he has ignited enough our minds. Thanks for that. Now I invite chairperson of this August gathering, Mananiya Nivedita Didi, to guide us on Vivekananda Kendra's nation building work with respect to Northeast.
Respected Dr. Ganesh Natarajan ji, आदरणीय किरण कीर्तने जी, प्रांत संचालक ऑफ महाराष्ट्र प्रांत for Vivekananda Kendra, and many respected who have very long years of service for our nation building. Many of you are sitting here, and all of you who are here, my humble namaskars to you. Our today's program and its purpose was told to you by Mananiya Pravinji, Northeast Calling. As you know, that Vivekananda Kendra is a sequel to Vivekananda Rock Memorial, which was completed in 1970. And when this work of building of Vivekananda Rock Memorial was taken up, there were many hurdles. And it was in those days, that is 1964, 1965, the permission was secured in 1964, and then the work started. It was in those days when in our country we didn't have even enough food to eat or feed even our soldiers who were fighting on the borders. That's why our Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri had told that you fast at least once a week, every Monday, don't eat. Then some grains will be saved and that we can give it to our soldiers. So in those days, for a society to dream a grand memorial to Swami Vivekananda, who gave our self-respect, our self-dignity, our self-confidence in our nation, its mission, in our culture, in our dharma. That itself was very difficult for many people to conceive. How we can build a grand memorial? From where the money will come? And really that was the situation. But 1 rupee, 2 rupee donation campaign, public committees were formed in each state. They took up this campaign of collecting 1 rupee, 2 rupee donation, and that's how 85 lakhs was collected. Then all the state governments, in spite of whatever party was in power, without any exception, all the state governments in our country, they gave 1 lakh rupees each. And central government gave 15 lakhs rupees. And that's how in those days, a very grand memorial was built up in a, we can say, in real sense, a national memorial. But the committee persons led by Eknathji Ranade, they felt when so much, the respect, Shraddha is there for Swami Vivekananda, when Swami Vivekananda can bring all of us together, forgetting whatever our colors are, we should not limit memorial to Swami Vivekananda only to a granite memorial. But we must have a living memorial. What just now respected Ganesh Natarajanji quoted, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. We have to rise. We may rise physically, materially, but we may not be awake. So, Swamiji says, first arise, then awake. And then there is a mission for this nation, this culture. And that mission we should understand and we should fulfill. Till that is fulfilled, do not stop. Especially, I refer this Swamiji's quotation in his complete works, that whether this was told in the context of an individual or a nation. Swamiji has quoted it at least 4 or 5 times. And most of the times it is in the context of the nation. He is asking the nation, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. That was Swami Vivekananda's dream for India. And he has dreamt about it not only while sitting on that rock at Kanyakumari, but even when he was struggling in America to stay alive. In one of his letters he writes, I may die of hunger or cold, That was the situation. The money in the hand was over. There were no warm clothes. There was no food to eat. That was the situation. But in the same letter, Swami Vivekananda says, 100,000 men and women, fired with the zeal of holiness, fortified with the eternal faith in Lord, nerved to the lion's courage by their sympathy. That lion's courage comes because of sympathy for the fallen and for the poor and the fallen and the downtrodden, shall go to the length and breadth of this land, preaching the gospel of equality, gospel of social raising up, gospel of help. So that Swamiji's dream we should not forget. Just granite memorial will not be, will be incomplete to pay our respects to him. It will be incomplete way of paying respects to him. And that is how Vivekananda Kendra, a spiritually oriented service mission, started. As we say, Vivekananda Rock Memorial, is a sangam, a culmination of 3 pravahats. One is Ramakrishna mission, Ramakrishna Vivekananda thought. Second is Kanyakumari had meditated there on that rock for Shiva. So, our whole Indian tradition. And third is Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangha. Eknathji Ranade was its pracharak. He was also Sarakaryavaha for 6 years. And even for this memorial, this collecting money that was done by Sangha Swayam Sevaks were on the forefront. And working for the nation, bringing all people together by forgetting our colors. That's how the work Sangha had started. So that was the third stream. So this we can say ये 3 तप का प्रवाह का जहाँ संगम हुआ है वह विवेकानंद शिला स्मारक है. और वही श्री रामकृष्ण परमहंस और स्वामी विवेकानंद से प्रेरणा लेते हुए ये विवेकानंद केंद्र शुरू हुआ. Now the challenge was, the need is everywhere. As it was told, even in our Pipri Chinswad area also there is need. Everywhere. People have lost confidence. They have no dreams in life. Or those who have, they don't think more about the society. I am not saying all, some. And that is why, whether it is material well-being or whether it is spiritual well-being in which you think, you work for the good of all. So, such raising up is needed. Such service is needed. Reaching out is needed. And what is to be done? Eknathji started Vivekananda Kendra by calling young men and women who, though may have the thoughts of career in mind or may be leading their own life, and yet they feel that when country needs, I will keep aside all my aspirations and I shall give my life for my country. And such young men and women will be given training and sent to different parts of the country to reach out those people who also have desire to work for the country. But maybe they have family responsibilities, they have their own jobs, but they also want to associate with such work. So to reach out to such people, organize them, discover such persons. And that is how the work has to be started all over the country. But where to give focus? The thrust. And that is where, as Pravinji already narrated to us, that in mind of Eknathji, since his Sangha days, it was there that northeastern people are very simple, very straight, very sweet actually. And they can also get carried away by wrong thoughts. That is one. Second thing, Northeast is so much diverse. As such, the whole India is full of diversities, beautiful diversities. Just now, actually, I am coming from Mangad. Mangad is a place on the borders of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. And I came from Baswada and all that region. So everywhere we have such diversity. But Northeast is really so full of diversity, visible diversity. That is, when we walk, even the dress is different. After every 20 miles, 30 miles, dress is different. Language is different. Even the name of God is different. The Utsavas, festivals are different. For example, if I tell you Sing Bonga, Bathau, Nani Intaya, Rangfra, Ane Donni, Jitane, we don't know these names. But these are all names of our gods. Or the supremost being, whom we call as Rangfra or Ane Donni. So name of God is different. Everything changes. And that diversity can be contrived or misused, to create fights among us. That's what was happening in Northeast. So that is another thing. Third thing, because of the partition, East Pakistan, later Bangladesh, the Northeast became geographically away from India. It is connected by just 30 miles, a narrow strip. So earlier, if you want to sell something, you have to come from Guwahati to Dhaka in 6 hours, or from Assam. Today you have to go all the way around Bangladesh and reach Calcutta, the first port or the big trading center. If we see per capita income at the time of independence, in Northeast it was higher. But because of all this, it got, distant. And when physically it became distant, slowly, psychologically, distance also developed. And there, as Pravinji already told you, New England scheme and all what was there. So there are so many anti-national powers who want to sever northeastern part from India. And therefore, they provoke lot of anti-national activities. So all such thing was, all these challenges were there. And because it became distant, whatever developmental activities were initiated since independence, they reached very, very late northeastern part, and still late in Arunachal Pradesh in those days. Therefore, Eknathji felt that we shall choose 2 important states of Northeast first, and slowly we shall go to the other states. One is Arunachal Pradesh, which shares the maximum border with China and Myanmar, and then Assam, through which generally we reach out to all other northeastern states. Therefore, we should focus on these 2 states, and that's how Kendra's work started. Now, the state which shares international border is always very critical, because their lives are always dispendable for the anti-national forces. They just misuse these people. Not only that, even the army, suppose there is insurgency, even army cannot make out whether he is Arunachali or whether he is from China. And then ill treatment even from the army can start, because it is not known whether he is Arunachali or he is from China. And the only safeguard is our own people in Arunachal. They can make out, a village can make out that this person is from outside. But our people there should be supported. They should be helped. They should be clear. They should be nationalistic. So that is why Arunachal Pradesh work was again from one point very critical. Second, Arunachal Pradesh is a very beautiful land. And the people there, you heard him, very sweet, very simple, very communicative. They have original intelligence. And if they take up something, they can really make gold out of it. Such very, very nice people. But Those were the days when there were no roads even. When Vivekananda Kendra started first 7 schools in 1977, our children, the rowing school, which Vishal told he was from rowing, you know, they had to come at least 7 days by walk to reach the rowing school. Our, who was at that time zonal organizer there and who is now president of Vivekananda Kendra, Balakrishnanji, he himself had walked to Anini 7 days. You had to walk, climb, reach there. So naturally these schools had to be residential because children take so much time. Our children in Anini, those who came from Anini, you know, they have seen helicopter, but they have not seen bus or railway. So we started the school very difficult days. But we have to really give credit to all our teachers who went from different parts of the states, parts of the country, from various states. And they worked so hard. They will carry their children, their luggage and reach the school. First they will start from their state, if it is Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, by train, reach Guwahati, then take a bus from there and then go. Then again take jeep. I can tell you, I have seen a jeep which has only engine, 4 wheels and it can run. Nothing else. Only those drivers are so skilled. And they take. And then you have to cross. Then sometimes a rivulet is there, so the jeep cannot go. Then either you have to wade through the water, or you have to sit in boat, or you have to sit, if it has so much force, you have to even sit on the top of the helipad and cross. Our earlier workers have done that. Then you go again by boat because so many streams of Brahmaputra. And then sometimes, you know, the boat gets stuck because the sand has come more. Every day the road changes. Means when we used to go, we will go. Then while coming again, now where is the road? We have to search. So such thing, and today there is tremendous difference. Communications have improved, mobile is there. Earlier, no communication. If a teacher's father is sick and the message is to be sent, first they will make phone call. It will be received in our Dibrugarh administrative office. Then we will find out in which school he is and which is the nearest army camp. So message will be given to that army camp. From the army headquarters, number will be taken. Then they will dispatch a Jawan who will go on foot to that school. He will inform the teacher and teacher will start his journey back. Even if he could reach on the 10th day, he was fortunate. That was the time. I was telling them that we used to go to our Oyan school, sit whole day in boat. 8 hours. You have to reach there also it will take time. After you get down also again you have to go in a jeep. So, and in Brahmaputra river it is 8 hours when we go upstream. Today there is a bridge, you can go in 3.5 hours to that school. Such change. So communications have improved and the education also the children are receiving. You saw their confidence is increasing. They have dream. They interact even with the scientists at national level, at international level. So Arunachal was chosen for that, for starting first with educational activities. And the teachers who have done that work is tremendous. They were telling also their teachers' names and even Karyakartas. Radha Didi is our Karyakarta, her name. These schools have now become a watchword in Arunachal Pradesh. Means there is no person who does not know VKV. That is Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya. Even a Christian MLA also has to stand for election. He has to tell that if you give me votes, I will bring one VKV here. And our teachers tell when they get into the bus sometimes, now it happens. So a person asks, आप VKV teacher है क्या? तो इन्होंने हाँ बोलने से तुरंत उनको बैठने के लिए जगह मिल जाती है ऐसा यानी समर्पण का ये प्रभाव होता है. So education is one thing, and today now we have there 41 plus 2 schools, Kasturba Gandhi Vidyalaya. Then there was another thing, diversity, and therefore lot of communal clashes, which were some are natural, some are instigated, provoked. You know, nation building is possible only if we know and we stand by all those common principles which connect us. If we forget that, then there are differences everywhere. Always the other person is different than me. So what are the commonalities because of which we have stayed for thousands of years together? This is what we started focusing, to bring community harmony. So Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture, it focused on this work, very difficult work. Earlier, this is the dream Eknathji has given. Now how it is to be done? There was initially some trial and error method we were trying. Then we also found that, you know, culture is a very dear subject for all. And if we go deeper into culture, there are two things, main thing, the inner core and the outer form. And in India, if we go for any community, the inner core of the culture, that is the vision of life and values of life, are same. But the outer cover is different for different communities. Now, how do we communicate it to our people? So we started conducting traditional customs, change and continuity. And this is the seminar on traditional customs, change and continuity. Now when here sitting in Pune we hear the name seminar, for us it's a very different concept that we call, speakers to speak, they come, they speak, people present their papers. There it was a big process. The process was those who can write, they really did not know what is the principles of our culture. And those who could not, those who knew, they could not write. Suppose we are doing this puja, why do we do? If we have this ritual, what is the purpose behind that ritual? Not known. So we made one rule, that those who can write, they should write the paper, but they should not refer the earlier books written by others, outsiders. They have observed us. You know, anthropology subject is such a subject, it's only a subject for a study of a conquered people by the conquerors. There is no anthropological study of Europe. There is no anthropological study of any Western community. It is only for conquered people. And the purpose, to find out what is wrong in them and to show, see, you are here. You need to come here. As Mahatma Gandhi had told Miss Mayo, today is 2nd October, we can remember it. Very directly Gandhiji had told Miss Mayo. She had written Mother India book. Title is Mother India, and she is talking all rotten things about India. So he told Miss Mayo, you are gutter inspector. You go to a house and see only a gutter and come out and write about it. You don't see anything else there. This is what anthropological study was. This is how our books are written. So always on marriage, questions will be whether there is illicit relationship, whether child marriage is there, whether widow can remarry. You also find out now why, what is the principle for marriage, what advice is given to the bride and the bridegroom, how both communities come together, which goddess is worshipped. Why not know about it? That will not be studied. So we made a rule that you have to write about marriage system, customary law, social system, so many things. But you should not refer the earlier written books. You go to the villages, sit with the elders, find out from them. You can even write in your book that consulted so and so persons on such and such date in such and such place. Oral history, because everything was oral history. So you collect that, write it. and present the paper. So it took lot of time. Once we decide seminar means it takes 1 year, sometimes 1.5 years. But we are also patient. We say that is the purpose. And then when the seminar is there, we started inviting other community leaders for the seminar. So they will sit, and another rule for our seminar, no person outside that community will speak about any practices of that community. So even we cannot speak. We may give a general inaugural or concluding, but not about the community's practices. Only that persons from that community will speak. So it is inside view. It is participatory research. And it is holistic way, looking at the life completely. So that's how the papers were presented. And the other leaders sitting, then they would say, अरे हम भी तो इसी के लिए ये करता है, हमारा भी ऐसे ही है, सिर्फ हमारा मंत्र थोड़ा अलग है, हम ये थोड़ा अलग करते हैं. And I will just give you 1 or 2 examples how it instilled confidence in the people, and also the bonds were strengthened. 2-3 examples I will give. When in our Nishi community, Dr. Joram Begi, who is now Pranta Sanchalak of Vivekananda Kendra, so he presented a paper on Manyang. Manyang was one arrangement if one community person has to go to other community place, especially between Nishi and Apatani. Earlier, if any fight takes place between one Nishin, one Apatani student, slowly it will become the fight between all Nishis and Apatanis. Not only students, even Nishi teachers will be with Nishi students, and slowly it will spread to the whole district. Then they said, if our ancestors, uneducated, could devise systems so that we can stay peacefully with each other, then why can't we do? And then they had all Nishi and Apatani leaders, they sat together, they had one Nishi Apatani summit. And in that, they made steps one after other. What shall we do? If anywhere, suppose a clash takes place, it should not escalate, but it should be resolved. For that, what are the steps? And after that, no Nishi Apatani quarrel has taken place. This is community harmony, because unless harmony is there, even industrial development cannot take place there, because people don't dare to go, in such areas. And so this is one thing. Then our people, slowly they started developing confidence. So in one of our seminars, it is for Vanchu community, and Vanchu community is almost fully converted because it is adjacent to Nagaland. So our scholar, he was presenting paper on PA. PA is there, a multi-purpose educational system. But it was translated as youth dormitory. For each community, different words are there. It is translated as youth dormitory. But actually, that is educational institution. Not system, institution. So he was presenting paper, and in the full paper he was using the word pa for that. Then one educated Vanchu, he stood up. He told, ये पापा क्या लगा के रखा है, आप यूथ डॉर्मिटरी बोलिए ना. तो इसने कहा वो यूथ डॉर्मिटरी है ही नहीं, तो मैं क्यों यूथ डॉर्मिटरी बोलूं. तो इसने कहा फिर लोगों को समझेगा कैसे पा क्या है. तो इसने बोला मेरा पेपर पढ़ने दीजिए. Let them read my paper and understand what is pa. Why should I use the wrong word and communicate wrong things? Frank Morals, there is one person. His one article is there. Words as weapons. And we started discovering such words. What are all such words which are used as weapons to destroy our self-confidence? That is another big subject. Now I will just tell you the last thing. One example. Slowly the commonalities they realized, though language is different, and now some 5 communities have decided to come together and find common words and start common institution. Whether it is temple, whether it is educational institution. So after VKV started, you know, earlier when teachers went, they didn't even know that in Arunachal there is, one is Tangsa, one is Mishmi, one is Idu Mishmi. You know, there are so many different tribes. Even if they read all those names, they cannot make out whether he is Mishmi or he is Tangsa or he is Nishi or Tagin. They cannot make out. And of course, then teaching about our culture there to our children, that is our local traditions, that was still out of question. But as now our students are grown up and many very well established Arunachalis, whether it is chief engineer, whether it is executive engineer, whether it is director education, all such persons, when they are getting associated, they decided that now we should start connecting with each other and we must have our own educational institution for modern times, in which we will teach all our cultural about our gods and goddesses, and the formal education will be given by VKV. And that is how now such 4 Gurukulas have started. And the first Gurukul means, I am using the word Gurukul, our Nibu Negam Yerko, that is its their language name for that. So they are, so when first Gurukul started, the people got so much confidence. They said, we can develop, if we want sustainable development, it has to be based on culture. Because if we lose the cultural values, I will tell you what are the cultural values. There, if someone gets married, you know, the whole community will help the couple to build a house. If suppose any house is burnt, you know, the whole village will come together and rebuild that house. Not only rebuild the house, all the women will sit together and then they will tell, from my house I can give this, my house I can give this, and within 24 hours a well furnished house is given to the family. This I have seen myself. And this is called living society. You know, when I am walking, a thorn pricks my leg, I will not say this is the problem of the leg, let the leg give application to the brain, then brain will think whether give direction to the hand to remove the thorn. It doesn't happen like that. It is instantaneous because there is connection. It's a living body. Immediately the eyes go there, the hand goes there. But suppose, unfortunately, that person is affected by leprosy, then there is no sensation. If a thorn pricks there, nothing will be felt. So, this society should be living society. And that is the example there we see. So many such examples. And then, you know, there are other examples also in front of them. That they got modern education, whole modernity entered, they lost faith in their own tradition, cultural values, and today drug addiction has increased there. Then they said, ऐसा तो डेवलपमेंट हमें नहीं चाहिए. लेकिन उनको तो यही बताया गया था, आपको डेवलप करना है तो कल्चर तो पीछे छोड़ना पड़ेगा. लेकिन इसके साथ उनका कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ गया that yes, actually it's not development and culture together. विकास और संस्कृति साथ साथ, ऐसा हम शुरू में बोलते थे. लेकिन जितना इसमें हमारा सबका चर्चा और बहुत सारे हमने सेमिनार भी किए और करते करते ध्यान में आया, इफ यू वांट सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, इट हैज टू बी थ्रू कल्चर. सो डेवलपमेंट थ्रू कल्चर. We shall develop, but we shall not lose our human values. We shall not lose our cultural values. I will not become selfish and self-centered, but more I develop, more my concern is not only for my community, but for my state and for my whole country. And it is that development through culture that also Vivekananda Kendra is taking. Then there are, you know, the Sant Srimanta Shankar Dev in Assam. He had started Satra, that is another multi-purpose educational institution only we should say, and also Mutt, both things combined. And because of the time, there were so many problems with the society and Satradhikar Prabhu. So Kendra decided that we should again connect these things together. and all Satradhikars were brought together on a stage. और उन लोगों ने ये बोला कि ये विवेकानंद केंद्र ही कर सकता है, इनका कोई अंतस्थ हेतु नहीं है, इसीलिए हम सब एक स्टेज पे आ सकते हैं और समाज के हित में सोच सकते हैं। ऐसा करके सत्र दर्शन एक कार्यक्रम किया। ऐसे अनेक जो गतिविधियां हैं, अल्टीमेटली नेशन बिल्डिंग has to happen in both dimension. One is the material dimension and the second is because India is not a political nation, it's a cultural nation. So also culturally how we are all one, how we connect with each other, and it's a spiritual nation. That is the same vision of life. We see Ishvara everywhere. That connects all of us, and it is that basis also should go. Swamiji's one very very powerful thought is there. He says, means when we take economic, social raising up to the people, at the same time we should also take spiritual well-being to them. Otherwise, more education, more development, there is possibility they may become self-centered. And therefore, the spiritual well-being also should go side by side. And that's what Vivekananda Kendra is trying to do. There are many, because Anandalaya film we saw, so I am not going to tell. There the number was told as 180, today it is 220, and slowly the numbers are increasing. Even what I told you, I am coming from Mangad, there also we are starting, because that's a very good model. Children go to their school, but every day 2 hours we teach them, and their soft skills, many life skills, and also the school curriculum. That is all imparted to them, and slowly they develop very well. They themselves start, now they are managing all those who came from Anandalaya. Today they are the in charge of these 220 schools, some 4 or 5 of them, and they are conducting all that. So, when I told that our nation is a cultural nation, a spiritual nation, it means the pain of anyone, whether he is not getting adequate food, or whether he doesn't have any dream in life to raise oneself, or whether he is victim of various vociferous tendencies, whatever, all that we should be alert, we should protect, we should help them. And it is for such work, whatever we give, for us it may be very little, but for them it makes a very big difference. I will just tell you one example. I was traveling in Changlang, and they wanted to bring one Rangphra temple, because that is the place where all of them can come together and they can face even the militants, because insurgency was there. And they said, they were telling, Didi, हमने ये बाम्बू से 4 दीवार तो बना दिया है, बस अभी हमें उसके ऊपर सिर्फ टीना डालना है, लेकिन उसके लिए हम पैसे की व्यवस्था कर रहे हैं। मैंने कहा कितना है टीना का? उन्होंने बोला बस 6,000 चाहिए। यानी एक ये होने से उनके लिए एक इंस्टीट्यूशन हो जाती है ऐसे। यानी ये बहुत कुछ बरस पहले की बात बता रही हूँ मैं। So for us 6,000 may be nothing, but for them it becomes a place which gives them support to fight even insurgency. And that is why the whole purpose of Northeast calling is, we know in our society there are so many people, they want to do, they want to support, they don't know where to go, or just the desire remains inside. And there are our people there in Northeast who need support, so that they can also come up very well and they can also become as vibrant as the 2 VKVNs who spoke here. And for that thing, we started this Northeast Calling. And I know that if we go deep within us, we feel that connect with all our people, whether they are in Orissa or in Jharkhand or in Northeast, and that is how we should also all strive. And I am sure, as Ganeshji has already promised, that Pune will do all its best. So I thank him and all of you and I conclude my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Nivedita Didi, for taking us a journey full of insights. And I hope when we go back, while returning, we are keeping those insights in our mind, and we are going to follow all that. Now I invite Kiranji for giving vote of thanks.
Namaste. On behalf of Vivekananda Kanyakumari Maharashtra Prant, I am standing here. The program is, I cannot say it is ending, so it is starting. So probably Northeast Calling Journey for Pune just started, and Dr. Ganesh Natranji has given us a lot of inspiration, motivation for all Puneites. Everybody who gathered here to contribute by Tan Man Dhan for the Northeast Calling Journey, Northeast Calling work for Vivekananda Kendra. So when we started, just probably we've been planning this program actually since last May. Somehow for some other engagements, actually it was getting delayed in Pune. So just 1 month back, we were scared to have some chief guests, have a place for the program, actually invite all of you. So we approached him, and as you were not knowing that he is a fan of Vivekananda, we just went to his place and requested him. Within no time, actually, I think he given his consent that it's Swami Vivekananda, no question asked. So I will come. All the way. So Nivya Didi, our own Nivya Didi, actually, all the way she is very, very busy schedule. She just came from the US and then traveling across Rajasthan and Gujarat. So for a few hours, actually, she has just come for this program, actually, all the way. But Manade Pravinji, who came for this from Rajamundri yesterday evening from his busy schedule, and there are some specific training programs is going on in Rajamundri. So I am grateful to Pravinji, Nivya Didi, though it is not a tradition in Kendra. Of course, I think last but not the least, all the dignitaries, all the invitees from the industry, academia, social organizations, and all Vivekananda Premi, Vivekananda Bhakta, Vivekananda Kendra, well-wishers, you all have come. So we were all also scared because of pouring rains all the time in Pune for last almost 1 week. But then I think I spoken to Ganeshji also, it's rain. He said, no, there won't be rains on 2nd October. So I think that's a conviction and positive thoughts. I think he has given it to us. So I think let us contribute. There are registration tables where we registered. So if somebody wants to contribute actually by Tan Man Dhan or would like to also require more information about the projects going on in Northeast Vivekananda Kendra, they can put down their names and their phone numbers. We'll definitely contact you. And of course, the Shikshan Prasarak Mandali has made this hall available at the auditorium for this program to us. And all the people, our friends on the media, they've given the coverage. They're going to give coverage again tomorrow. So I think a lot of people who supported directly, indirectly for this program, and we are very grateful and thankful to all of them. So again, I think on behalf of all Puneites, I am also Puneite, though I have Vivekananda Maharashtra Prant as a responsibility. I think we promise that we will do all our best and contribute, and then definitely contribute to the nation building work for our Vivekananda Kendra, specific to the Northeast. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
There is one announcement. Publications of Vivekananda Kendra and Dr. Natarajan's books are available at the registration desk. And also, if anybody interested in contributing to Kendra's work by any means, please contact the registration desk, give your name and contact number or email ID, and we will reach out to you. Now the program is going to end by Sarve Bhavantu. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग्